I'm Charlotte, and this is Chatting with Charlotte, where I share conversations, life hacks, and inspirations to help you on your healing journey from childhood trauma. So today we're going to talk about a topic that came up in a conversation I had during a radio interview a couple of weeks ago. The person interviewing me, I started to talk about dissociating as a child during the abuse, and she stopped me and she said, "Wait a minute, dissociation, what is that?" And so I decided that today would be a good day to address that and to maybe answer that question, because maybe someone else out there has the same question. So we're going to talk a little bit about what is dissociation. Now, those of you that are survivors, you're probably familiar with the experience, but you might not be familiar with the term. So hopefully this will be helpful not only to you as you experience dissociation, but also as you try to explain it to somebody else. So hopefully that is something that this will help you with. So what is dissociation? I think what I came up with during that interview was I told the person that the best way to describe dissociation is daydreaming on steroids. Now, you may not agree with that, but that is kind of how it feels to me and how it felt during the times that I was experienced dissociation daily, and most of the time, many times a day. And so what do I mean by that? Well, when you daydream, you are staring off into space. You are not conscious really of what's going on around you. You're focused on whatever it is you're daydreaming about, whether it's something that you're going to be going to do or something that you have done, but you're totally absorbed in an event that is different than what is going on in the present. And that is exactly what dissociation is. But dissociation is much more intense. And the major difference is that it is in response to a traumatic event most of the time. And as a child, we are not able to absorb and comprehend and process severe trauma. And so our brain cooperates with that inability and shuts down our, I guess the best way to call it would be our input of what's happening around us. And it replaces it with a different experience, whether that is we literally in our minds leave our bodies and we watch what's going on, but it's really, we don't perceive that it's happening to us. It's different. It's happening to someone else. And we go to a safe place generally. In our mind, we find a safe place where we're not being hurt. And we stay there until something jolts us out of it. Now, but as an adult, when you dissociate, it can be very dangerous because you can be triggered by something that reminds you of the trauma. And all of a sudden you are not in your car driving, you are somewhere else. And that can be really dangerous. And so as an adult, it's actually very important that you learn how to manage dissociation and try to figure out ways that when it's happening. For me, there was always a physical sensation that happened to me before I dissociated during the healing process. And for me, that was, I just felt like ice was running through my veins and I just got incredibly cold. And that was my signal that I was about to dissociate. And until I learned how to control that, it was very frightening to me because I really didn't understand what was happening. So if you're experiencing some of that, most likely you are experiencing dissociation. If you feel sometimes that things aren't real, if you feel sometimes that you're not really a part of the world, then that's probably dissociation. Now, you've got to distinguish between daydreaming and dissociation, because if you are just wrapped up in thought and someone speaks to you and you can come back and you're right there and present, then that's different than a dissociative episode. So that's just a little bit about what dissociation is. Now, on Wednesday, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to recognize when you may be beginning to dissociate and give you just a couple of tips, some that I've shared before, but hopefully, and a couple of new ones on what to do when you have whatever thing that happens in your body that tells you you might be about to dissociate. Now, you don't always have that, but most of the time you do. So I really hope that this was helpful to you. I hope that it's something that you will share with your friends who may not understand what dissociation is. And then I will be back on Wednesday and talk to you some more about it.